first week of my powerlifting prep is officially in the books, and I learned far more than I anticipated that I would. When it comes to how much I learned, first things first, I didn't realize how much more I was going to be able to push on the heavy compound lifts. Even though the effort I was putting out felt far more intense, after watching back the footage, I realized that my bar velocity didn't really change, even with the heavier top sets. Having the bar slow down as you get through a set is typically seen as one of the key indicators that you're approaching failure. And for me, it looks like I still need to figure out what that limit is. This is a good problem to have though. Being able to learn how much harder I can push through each and every workout is going to allow me to see more progress week by week than if I was just to go based off of feel. Training by feel is by no means a bad way to train. But after going back and reviewing that footage, it helped me realize how much of a wimp I was being when I considered something hard. The other thing I learned and was able to dial in a little bit was the selection of my accessory movements. Accessory lifts are those that help build strength related to the big three powerlifting movements, being squat, bench, and deadlift, but in a slightly different fashion. For example, I did incline bench to get stronger from a different angle during a pressing movement. I did bent over rows to build more pulling strength through my torso during a deadlift. And I did a hack squat variation to overload my quads and make sure that they weren't a weak point during my squats. Picking the right accessory movements is a super important piece of the puzzle, because while I would feel awesome and my confidence would skyrocket if I did all kinds of different curls, my biceps blew up, and I really filled out those t-shirt sleeves, that's not really the main goal. So why would I do that during this programming? The goal right now is to get stronger as a powerlifter. Building extra muscle mass is just a happy side effect. I know I'm not super deep into this powerlifting prep, but after just 1 week of consistent work, I feel a lot stronger and far more functionally sound than I was at the beginning. But it was also really eye-opening in terms of the progress that I should be expecting to make. Having such a long-term background with being an endurance athlete and a long-distance runner has allowed me to regain my endurance and my speed relatively quickly, even after extended periods of not training. If I ended up taking a month or even longer off, it would only take me 2 or 3 weeks to be close to where I was before the break. But with strength training, I'm going to be pushing and grinding through this entire process, one step at a time, truly earning every little bit of progress that I get. It's definitely going to be a battle, and not just physically, but mentally and even emotionally too. Throughout this first week, I started to recognize how many self-inflicted limitations I was putting into my own head, telling myself that because I've been an endurance athlete my entire life, I wasn't going to see the same kind of progress that others would see doing the same kind of workouts. But then I recognized and remembered that the only person in the world that's telling me that is me. And you might be in a similar boat, telling yourself that you're not cut out for the finish line that you've set out for yourself. But let's look at it this way. For 7 days straight, I got stronger, my form got better, and I became one step closer to being a legitimate powerlifter. This is solely due to the fact that I dialed in, buckled down, and trained like one. And you know what they say, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So if you walk the walk, give yourself the positive self-talk to build the confidence you need to keep moving forward, then who's to say you can't make it? Who's to say you couldn't make it even further than what you had dreamed of? Well, I know it was brief, but that was a quick look at what happened during this first stage of becoming a powerlifter. And I really hope to see you next week as we go over week 2 of going from miles to muscles.